Femininity. For centuries, it was celebrated, revered, and even idealized. Yet today, in the modern world, it seems to be facing some sort of identity crisis. Women are being pushed to adopt more of what might be defined as masculine traits, assertiveness, dominance, and even independence. Today, we tear down the wall around femininity, and we discuss the subject, the silent undermining of femininity in the modern world. This is Disruptive with Young Universal TV Africa, and I'll be back after the break. In a world oversaturated with sugar-coated talk, this is the space where comfort zones go to die and real conversations come to life. This isn't your average talk show. This is the collision of intellectual rebellion and revolution. Here we break boundaries, challenge the status quo, and tear down the walls of mainstream thinking. I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth, and I'm certainly not here to make it comfortable. I'm here to disrupt, no filters, no safe zones. Here we address the topics that make you uneasy, conversations that stir discomfort and provoke reactions. I talk about the things they don't want you to talk about, the things that challenge your very beliefs, that spark debates, that make us question who we are and what we stand for. You might not like what you hear, you might not agree, and that's okay, but what you will do is think, and that is exactly the point. This is not about offering easy answers, it's about asking the hard questions no one dares to raise. So if you're ready to push past the noise, if you're ready to get uncomfortable, then buckle up, because the disruption starts now. I am Jay Harbour, I am the disruptor, and this is Disruptive with Jay. Welcome back to Disruptive with Young Universal TV Africa. I remain your host, Jay Harbour. And to tear down the walls around femininity, the disruption is about to begin with my guest in the house, presenter, compare, and TV host, the indescribable, because I like the words to describe her, Blessing Okebe. Welcome to the show, Blessing.
Hi, Jay.
My pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having
And I
me.
think no other person can dissect this topic
Okay.
than you.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let the disruption begin.
Yeah.
I'll start. I'm a man. I wouldn't like to give any interpretation to it.
Yeah.
What would you define or describe as femininity, the femininity trait? So what is that?
Well, I wouldn't want to give like a dictionary definition to it, but I think, especially for women, femininity is usually used synonymously with, let's say, being soft, right? Being fragile, right? Like not being so up and strong. It could be said to being weak, but it's not about weakness. It's about being fragile, being soft, but there's still strength in that. So that's what femininity is all about, especially.
Yeah, because even in today's world, as much as we are pushing back on the idea of femininity, there is something they call the feminine energy. I've come across that. I've come across that a couple of times on social media. And as a man, I can relate to what that is. I know,
how can you relate?
Oh, it's such a superpower, trust me.
Okay,
But before I get to that,
Yeah.
later on in the show, I want to ask, is society actively undermining what we refer to now as traditional femininity? It's almost as if women are being pushed to adopt more of what will be likened to masculine traits, the whole so strong, independent, even chivalry is interpreted as you trying to, push a lady to a place where you're interpreting as you are weak, you can take care of yourself. So, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm glad this conversation is actually happening right now, because when it comes to femininity and masculinity, right, in today's society, it's as if we have more women who, because of circumstances or because of the society or because of their status, right, now have to, how do I put it? Now have to take up that role of, in quote, masculinity, right? And in the original design, right, women are supposed to like tap into that power of being a female, you know, that fragile, that soft, that tender. But we can always have what we want. But right now, and I won't say it's a bad thing, neither would I say it's a good thing, right? You see more women, especially first daughters, like women who are currently maybe in some leadership positions.
Shout out to first daughters.
I'm a first daughter too, so right. And then because we are taking up more responsibilities like provision, protection, it now makes it look like, okay, we are becoming more masculine, right? And then you now hear people start saying, you now hear the society or people start saying that, I beg, like you're a woman, right? You're not supposed to be doing all this. But it's not like it's our fault in that situation, because it's as a result of, like I said, where we find ourselves, right? And I know one thing I don't really like saying is women and being independent because of, let's say, because a woman is able to take care of herself and you now say she's independent. That's what a normal human being is supposed to do, right? That's what a normal human being is supposed to do. But in the grand scheme of things, for women, what usually causes this is sometimes the absence of a male figure, right? The absence of a male figure. So you see a woman who is used to taking care of herself, not just taking care of herself, because I mean you should take care of yourself, but taking care of other people, maybe siblings, have been in different leadership positions, and then because of that, unconsciously you start beginning to have this manly, in quote, aura, and you become a, in quote, fighter. You understand, independent and all that, and once you get to that level, once you get to that part as a woman, it becomes quite difficult to readjust, especially, let's say, maybe when you get into a relationship, you still find yourself trying to be like that. You understand? Instead of, okay, being taken care of, you still want to be the one doing the caring, being the protection and all that. So,
you know, I have a question, because before you making this point, you know, there's a part that I believe, if I interpreted properly, you know, the kind of, not necessarily stereotypes, but interpretations that society give to things like this. But is this simply a natural evolution of gender roles, or more a function of progressive ideas that are being pushed, or rather what are defined as progressive ideas? Because a lot of movements have come out to, you know, to subscribe to the idea that
what a man can do, woman can do better.
That, you know, traditional femininity is not, is, you know, enslavement, is weakness.
I don't think it's slavery. I don't see it as slavery or weakness or anything. But I think for every woman, from a personal opinion, we all have that desire to bask in that feminine aura, right? To be taken care of, to be protected. I mean, as a woman, that's the natural tendency, that's the natural craving, that's the natural desire. But like I said, sometimes circumstances, right, or situations makes you have to step up, right, and now be the one protecting and guiding and all that. So you know that notion of what a man can do, a woman can do better. I don't really subscribe to that. I think it's actually contextual, right? Because I think that there are things men are supposed to do and they excel in it, and there are things women are supposed to do and we excel in it. There's no competition. Everybody has their own role to play, right? And just like it says in the Bible, you will not say because I'm the neck or because I'm the nose that I'm not important. You have your own role that if you don't function in your own capacity, it's going to affect the whole thing. It's going to affect everything, right? So everybody has their own different responsibilities, right? But because of some progressive, just like you said, because of some progressive ideas, which I honestly do not really subscribe to, right? That women, I think that every woman has that desire. We may not show it, we might not agree, especially because of pride and all that. But we all have that tendency to want to be taken care of and protected. And if no one is able to step up to that, we do it ourselves.
Now, speaking on progressive ideas, do you think that modern feminists are, and their movements, that they are unintentionally devaluing feminine traits by prioritizing more of the masculine traits?
I really try to resist any conversation that has to do with feminism, because it's a very controversial conversation, and one thing can be misquoted and all that. But I think in terms of feminism, which I really love to, I really prefer to shy away from, I think I really prefer to shy away from that
Right.
from that feminism part. I really want to shy away from it because feminism is different from femininity.
All right, let's bring it down to, oh wow, I was trying to help you shy away from
Yeah,
it.
I was also trying to help myself, but
Regardless
there's a
of
big
the fact
difference
that
between feminism
it's
is different.
disruptive, we're actually here to disrupt.
I think femininity is very different from feminism, right? Whatever the different variations of feminism is, but femininity
And the
is more, or
movement.
I'm not trying to prove that I can do this thing more. I'm not trying to say equality, equity, fair. That's the standard. That's good, right? But femininity is more like I understand my place.
Yeah.
Right, I understand my role. I understand my role, whether in the family, in the society, or anything, and I'm comfortable with that. Because another thing is that people think femininity is weakness. Trust me, it's not. There's this soft power that comes with understanding or acknowledging that power you have as a woman, that power of femininity, and you can use that. Right, you can use that to achieve what you want to achieve. So you don't always need to be all strong. And this is actually in contradiction to myself because, like I said, I'm a first daughter. I have been in several leadership roles, and from personal experience, because I've gotten to that level of I'm usually the one in charge. I'm usually the one that is like telling people what to do. It's really difficult to switch. Like, okay, let's say the normal casual relationship you have with, just like Jay, both of us are friends, right?
Yeah.
But most times it's like, okay, here's your friends, right? But you always want to be like, okay, how are you doing? Are you, like, you don't want to, like, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You don't want to, like, okay, you like in this notion, you're like in charge, right? In quote, in charge. And even when someone is like, okay, are you sure you're like, I'm strong, I'm fine, I'm fine. Because you have that notion of, trying to project that. So it's quite difficult for you to now be like, okay, I think you understand. And so it's quite difficult to switch back to that.
About the power in that femininity aura, that energy, I think I can agree. I mean, throughout history, we have seen men go to wars that they probably shouldn't have gone on. Simply because of a woman.
Exactly.
We have the Caesars,
and when
the Alexanders.
Right, yes, and when used right, it can be used to turn the course of things.
That can alter the course of history, truth be told.
Exactly.
History has shown us that. So I don't think that anybody can underestimate
the power of being a
being
woman
a feminine,
feminine
woman. Now, but I think, and I'll phrase this as a question: why do women who embrace what we now call, as odd as it is, traditional feminine characteristics, why do they feel under pressure, to show off that masculine traits, in the workspace, in the corporate space generally, in every sphere? It's almost as if there is these masculine behaviors that only when you eschew them will you be taken seriously. Before you answer, I have to go.
Okay.
Oh, you get it right.
I have an answer for you. Okay, but it's fine.
You give me your answer when we come back from this short break. Stay tuned. In a world oversaturated with sugar-coated talk, this is the space where comfort zones go to die and real conversations come to life. This isn't your average talk show. This is the Coliseum of intellectual rebellion and revolution. Here we break boundaries, challenge the status quo, and tear down the walls of mainstream thinking. I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth, and I'm certainly not here to make it comfortable. I'm here to disrupt. No filters, no safe zones. Here we address the topics that make you uneasy, conversations that stir discomfort and provoke reactions. I talk about the things they don't want you to talk about, the things that challenge your very beliefs, that spark debates, that make us question who we are and what we stand for. You might not like what you hear, you might not agree, and that's okay, but what you will do is think, and that is exactly the point. This is not about offering easy answers, it's about asking the hard questions no one dares to raise. So if you're ready to push past the noise, if you're ready to get uncomfortable, then buckle up, because the disruption starts now. I am Jay Harbour, I am the Disruptor, and this is Disruptive with Jay. Welcome back to Disruptive with Jay on Universal TV Africa, and we are still discussing the subject, the silent undermining of femininity in today's world. I still have on a hot seat, or what may not necessarily seem like a hot seat today. Blessing Okebe. All right, so you're about to give me an answer to my question before the break.
You were asking why it looks like women are usually under pressure to turn on or to take up a masculine
characteristics, behaviors. It seems as though they will not be taken serious if they don't do that.
Because it's not our fault, right? Because it's not, and I'm saying this, I play in the corporate space and I hold like a senior position there, right? And the thing is, right, like I said, circumstances sometimes make women have to step up, right? Because if you're being most times or sometimes, in the corporate space, most especially, you're being all trying to bask in that femininity. It looks like you would be taken for granted. Sometimes you have to put your foot on the floor and be like, no, this is how we are going to do this. This is how we are not going to do this. This is my opinion. I stand by this, right? Because if you do not project that strength in that regard, right, you will not be taken seriously. People will be like, she's not. And sometimes you even have to change even the tone of your voice, the texture of your voice. So let's say before you speak really softly, hi Jay, how are you? When you come to the boardroom, no, I strongly abide by this decision.
Especially most times people take advantage of femininity.
Yes, exactly. But I think the summary is that there needs to be a balance, right, between femininity and masculinity, especially for a woman, because there are situations where you have to use that, where you have to tap into their power, and there are situations where you have to be that woman, that feminine woman, and all that. And a clear example of this is, let's say, in your family and at work. You cannot carry as a married woman, right? Or let's say you're a single lady, wherever you are. You cannot carry the same personality you have at work into your home. But you cannot carry the same personality you have at home to work. So it's being able to alternate or to switch back and on these times when the situations or when the circumstances are right. But where we find it difficult, and I find it difficult, is being able to switch back and to switch on. Because when you've taken this, it's very difficult not to let it be expressed in other areas of your life, right? But when it comes to the corporate space, honestly, when it comes to the corporate space, femininity, it doesn't really, like being all that soft, gentle, woman, it doesn't really cut it for us.
The world is not fair. It's not a fair playing ground.
Exactly. So it looks like you have to...
You can't afford to negotiate from a position of weakness all the time, or what might be perceived as weakness.
Exactly.
I think that's the point you're trying
understand.
to make.
And I wouldn't want to put blames on anybody, because I think that's just how the corporate world is, right? We have to put our foot down and all that to be able to get the job done, and let that we see. And that's why I said it's circumstances, it's society. So I don't think that we have to get rid of anyone or think of how we can shut down anyone. It's just, as a lady, being able to know, okay, this is when to switch this on, and this is where to switch this back off.
You made a reference to, that masculinity, you have to like change the tone and all. I think, this is my perspective. I think the modern word
is becoming more corporate.
I think they confuse or they misinterpret authority with masculinity. I think there's a clear distinction in that, because authority means I'm putting my foot down on what I want. And most times you've got to do it. You're in a position where there is no other choice. You have to express that. You have to employ that trait. It's something that I don't think is defined by gender. I think both genders can explore that authoritativeness. But I think in the modern world, just like the idea of being a feminist, the feminist movement has been weaponized against men. I think the idea of authority in the context of masculinity has been weaponized against women, because when you try to put your foot down, you are told she is masculine. I think that is almost like me trying to find a word to describe what I cannot say to you. That's a masculine woman. Just like when you see a lady,
and there are these stereotypes.
Just like when you see a man putting his foot down, you say, no,
exactly.
That's a toxic male.
If a man puts his foot down and says, this is how it's going to be, you'll be like, okay, he's just being a man.
No, even in the world today, it's called being a and being a toxic man. That is why I've never understood the concept of toxic masculinity as against toxic humanity.
I think that one is being the excessive part of it, but in a normal common ground, when a man says something and says, this is what we're going to do, you take it as natural. That's what they're going to do. But when a woman does the same thing,
it's described that's a masculine woman. And I think this comes more from narcissistic people, because this is what it is. even as far as character is concerned, I think there is a box, a very dangerous box that we are pushing people into. Because of that self-sacrificing nature of most women who find themselves in circumstances where there is no, almost like there's no other option but to self-sacrifice. A single mother is all for the kids. You know, a woman who is, you know, quite gentle to the man. You know, if you die for me, if you're willing to, you know, kill your dreams for me, you're feminine. But if
that's not feminine,
that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. I don't think that is what is femininity. For people who push that idea, I think that is you trying to, that is control.
That is control.
That's a sense of control.
That is
We're using that as, so when a woman tries to say, or if you find yourself as a lady in a space like that and you describe it as masculine, that is not masculine. That is control. You're with a narcissistic person. That's just the summary. I say that unapologetically. And that is not me saying that men cannot, in the normal, traditional setting of a home, take up that leadership role, be the authority. But we just have to, you know, be careful how we treat that fine line between being controlling and being masculine. Those are two different things.
Those are entirely different things, because even at home, if a man is not able to lead, right, lead in terms of protect the family, provide
which
for
are
the family,
natural
which
masculine
should be
traits.
natural masculine traits, the woman is forced to, even if the woman was, in quotes, gentle, fragile, and other women, the woman is forced to step up, right?
Fact,
so when it comes to the,
most times, even naturally, I think it's a trait. Even psychologists proving this. Women tend to regress. There's this kind of pushback from women when a man becomes like that. You're no longer, you're not being protective. Your natural leadership, the men is not being portrayed and all. I think women tend to regress. They start pushing back from you. It's almost as if that sense of, okay, I see you up there, I'm willing to submit to your leadership. You know,
because we talk about submission a lot, but for submission to happen, that means someone has stepped up, right? Someone is taking control, in quotes, someone is taking charge, someone is leading, right? And then submission now comes gradual. Now comes, you don't even have to naturally, you understand? But when that does not happen, it becomes a problem. Right? And so when the woman is also leading at home and you're trying to get her to be submissive, there's a problem, because she has already switched that back on and it's really difficult to now. But when a man steps up, naturally it becomes a flow. Women want to be taken care of. Women want to be protected, like I said before, even at work too. But like I said, it's based on circumstances. So I think that when it comes to solutions, right, when it comes to, and I say solutions, when it comes to for women, right, I think it's learning how to, like I said, balance these two things, these two personalities, right, learning how to find strength in being gentle, learning how to find strength in being feminine, learning how to tap into that strength, right, and not see it as being weak, not see it as being less of the lesser partner or something like that. Knowing that that could be the way you could actually use to get what you want as well, right? But in the other way, you understand? But when it comes to the corporate space, it's just natural. Authority is synonymous with, in quotes, masculinity, right? And sometimes when we do it, it's not like we're trying to be masculine, but when it happens, the society paints it as she's too bossy. If I do something, I give instructions. If you give instructions, nobody will be like, he's too bossy. But if a lady does that the same thing, they'll be like, she's too bossy. So most times it's the society's fault. You've already stereotyped and termed that, so you're like, okay, no problem. Let us do it like that. So that's it basically.
Now, breaking this into another space, the media. Do you think, some people argue, so that's why I'm trying to get your perspective of this. Do you think that the media's portrayal of strong women is kind of influencing the public's perception of femininity? Because the traits often associated with a strong woman, usually, the forceful,
because
round,
the media,
masculine kind of stuff. Do you think that influence, especially in the modern world?
100%, because consciously or unconsciously, we are influenced by the media, what we see, right? And that I have been influenced as well, right? Thinking that masculinity is, thinking that being a strong woman is being able to take care of yourself, being able to fight your own battle, being able to be that leader that everybody respects and all that. And I'm like, there's also strength with not being all that, right? Yes, and that's what we're talking about. So when it comes to the media, you see feature films, you see movies, you see whatever shows that depict strong women as having this masculine, that's where the problem is. So masculine, right, energy. And that's what we call strong women. So the media has played it. But if the media can actually also paint a scenario where we are able to see strength with a woman who is still fragile, a woman who is still gentle, a woman who is still, in quotes, soft. Most of all the strong women we see that are maybe on shows or film, they have this kind of voice that is like authoritative, right? Rarely will you see a woman who is soft-spoken that is depicted as a strong woman. So it goes down even to that particular angle, right? So the media has a very large role to play about helping women tap more into their femininity and understand that there's still strength in that as well.
Just for clarity's sake, because of my audience, rather our audience in today's conversation, what exactly would you describe as fragile? I think when people hear the word fragile, they'll be like, you can't do anything, can't get the work done. You just have to, lay back.
I think the better word is actually gentleness, right? I think the better word is actually gentleness, not fragility in this. I think it's more of gentleness. Gentleness is that you don't have to be forceful to get something done. It's not just about power, force, and authority in order to get something done, that you can still softly, gently to get what you want without having to put out that demeanor.
Right. So, just to round off briefly, do you think in today's world that we are missing the bigger picture, where both masculinity and femininity need to be, appreciated more? You think that we are trying to create stereotypes or alter identities? Don't you think that the world should celebrate both traits for what they are without trying to bring in,
and I think it starts from the term.
I
think it starts from the term. When a woman is being more, in quotes, independent, in quotes, assertive, let's stop saying she's being masculine. Do you understand? Because that word has come and then it has stuck. And then so women now refrain from it because it's like, I'm being more of a man. So she's being it. If a man does it, it's him being a man. If a woman does it, don't tell me that she's being too masculine, right? Allow us to do what we need to do. Allow us to be who we are without trying to be someone else.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show, Blessing Okibe. It's been my pleasure having this conversation with you. I wish we had more time. I think there are more spaces that we can dive into. But for the sake of time, I would respect my humble self. And then I hope to bring you back on the show some other time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And that's on today's edition of Disruptive with Jay on Universal TV Africa. And well, before the show started, I kind of tried to ease away from giving too much of my perceptives or perceptions. I've shared quite a lot. So you can pick up whatever you want from that and make your decisions for yourself. I'll see you next time.